Good morning, this is Belinda. We are on lesson 13 of A Course in Miracles. The statement for today is, a meaningless world engenders fear. Now, I didn't do videos for a few days because I got caught up in this fear. If I start focusing on the fear, then it just takes me in this whirlwind. So and that's what happened. That's what happened this past 5 days. I started focusing on fear, and it just kind of set me back a little bit, or not set me back, but it just created within me a lot of fear. So in this lesson it says that a meaningless world is actually impossible. Nothing without meaning exists. Recognition of meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in all the separated ones. It represents a situation in which God and the ego challenge each other as to whose meaning is to be written in the empty space that meaninglessness provides. The ego rushes in frantically to establish its own ideas there, fearful that the void may otherwise be used to demonstrate its own impotence and unreality. And on this alone it is correct. It is essential, therefore, that you learn to recognize the meaningless and accept it without fear. This whole idea of living in this world, but not of the world. And that's what this brings up in me. To be in this world, but not be of the world. And, I want to be of the world. I want to experience the amazing cuisine, and I want to, I find, that part of me that wants to participate in the fun stuff that this world has to offer. And when I read this, that's where my battle is. That's where my battle is with God. I guess this is my ego saying, I used to make this statement quite a bit when I first went through this process. If I have to be in this world, then I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. If my consciousness must be here, if I must be here, then why would I go through this life being miserable or denying the things that bring me joy? And then, the spiritual part of me, the programming part of me is like, well, the drug dealer could be saying the same thing. Selling drugs makes him happy. And so is that allowed? Should he be allowed to do that? And that's where the conflict lies within me. And I think that's what's bringing up the fear in me. Not judging, it makes you step back and say, okay, so what brings me joy more valuable or better than what makes that drug dealer joyful? It's again back to this good and bad, this having to have this good and bad definition. And so until I learn to resolve this conflict within my mind, then I'm constantly going to be back and forth in this fearful state and in this peaceful state. Because it is this whole concept of God is challenging. Further down in the lesson, it says that to repeat the statement, I am looking at a meaningless world as I look about, and then close my eyes and conclude each of the 3 or 4 sessions with a statement that says, a meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God. And I'm not sure about the whole world, but I know in the States, we really don't like talking about God. We really don't. And And you know, it's really, I think what it needs to be is a personal relationship. Each person, that's where we're heading now, and my belief is that each person needs to resolve within them whether God is real to them, whether they want to open a space for that idea, and the idea can no longer exist like it has in the past. The whole concept of God must change as we become more evolved. And that, I know that was true for me, has been true for me, and currently is true for me. And the other statements in the book, in this lesson, state that to note carefully any signs of overt or covert fear which may arouse. This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which you are very inexperienced in recognizing. I don't notice the fear right away. Whenever I'm on lesson 13, whenever the statement has fear or looking at those feelings or emotions that don't feel good, it keeps taking me in this spiral of immobility, inaction. And so I'm still getting caught up in my mind. I'm still so pretty stuck in that ego and getting caught up in what I'm afraid of. And that's what happened with lesson 13. And I didn't write down an affirmation for this one, so I didn't shift, and that's how I got caught up. So a meaningless world engenders fear in us, and we need to learn to recognize when it's meaningless. That's my insights for today. Have a wonderful day.